Okay, everyone, this is Dr. Farrell from Better Health. I thank you for your time this afternoon. I am incredibly proud to present the Wellvolution program done by Blue Shield of California. We call it a digital platform, so that's kind of the technical term, but really what it is a healthy lifestyle platform that allows you to pick what's going to work best for you. It's really amazing to me because when you take the word well, obviously we all want to have some wellness in our life, and Wellvolution obviously coming from the idea that this is a revolution, which it really is, because typically when it comes to healthcare, we normally think of sick care. We think of getting to the doctor, getting some medication, surgeries, or things of that nature. Well, Blue Shield is going to flip that script and said, we want to get ahead of this. We want to give our members choice. We want to give our members tools and resources that they can do to live an optimal and healthy lifestyle. And we happen to be a company called Better Health that does just that. We're one of the 70 or so digital therapeutics or digital programs on this platform. And we could not be happier since joining, as well as just seeing the amazing results, watching the members and their family members just do incredible things. So while it's focused on prevention and self-management and condition reversal, ultimately it's about living your best life that you possibly can and giving you the choice to pick which apps, which programs, which tools, which resources work best for you. So you can go to wellvolution.com. You can see if you qualify for one of these programs, you and your family members. It's a quick quiz to fill out. And then when you're done, it will give you some best match choices. You can choose what fits you, the style, how you like to communicate, what program you think looks best. My advice is to read them thoroughly, go to the various websites, check out the varying reviews, just to make sure that it's the right fit for you. And they've done such an amazing job of curating some of the best-in-class programs, patting ourselves on the back, of course. So I'm Dr. Farrell for Better Health. I'm the founder. I have been working with people for over 20 years. We had physical medicine clinics inside health clubs. We've watched a lot of failure during that time, and we've come up with a unique approach that is helping people not just reverse chronic illness, come off diabetic medication, hypertensive medication, IBS, Crohn's, feeling less anxious, better sleep, energy, and weight loss, all those fun things, but really get empowered, really understand their body and their body's unique needs. And that's essentially what our program has been designed to do. So if you were to look at the digital apps and the person programs here, they are designed to help with weight loss, reverse chronic disease, get better sleep, increase your physical activity, improve diet and nutrition overall, and also smoking cessation. So all those various type of programs can be found on wellvolution.com, and Better Health happens to be one of those choices. So without further ado, let's get into today's topic. Boy, cravings and anxiety. Could they not have been worse at this time? 2020 has been a doozy of a year for many of us. And some people are thinking there's no rest for the weary. It seems that there's more and more unrest and more on our plate than ever before. And so I want to submit to you that oftentimes when we think of anxiety, we think of depression, we think of the behavioral or psychological change. And today I want to submit to you that it's really potentially more of a physiological issue than an emotional or psychological issue. On top of that, I'm going to introduce something that many of you may or may not know. Maybe you've heard about probiotics or the microbiome or gut health or the brain-gut connection. We're going to explore a lot of that today. And then we're going to talk about how foods can really be your best ally. And ultimately, then we're going to talk about the empowering nature of learning through elimination, reintroduction, reducing inflammation, how you can actually have effortless weight loss and increase your mood at the same time. So what's the issue here? We are essentially a nation right now that is sick and tired of feeling anxious, depressed, fat, sick, and tired. And it's not just us. This is happening with our kids. This is happening with people in our workplace. This is happening with ourselves. And oftentimes, our failure to maintain a good, healthy weight, our failure to feel better, refreshed, or be in a better mood, we blame ourselves. We're constantly blaming ourselves. Yet the thing is, is that your body's actually doing exactly what it was designed to do under stress. And there is no denying that we are under tremendous amount of stress. So for this information to sink in properly, we need to level the playing field here. If you're coming at this where I'm saying, you need to do more of this, you need to do more of this, cut out this, that's not where it's at. The only thing I need you to do on this call, because I know you're not going to take in everything that we talk about today, and it's not designed to do that, is you have to let yourself off the hook. Your inability to lose weight or feel better in your mood, it's not your fault. It's my experience that everyone on this call is whole and complete with only barriers to that expression. We all deserve to be light and feel light. We want energy throughout our day. We deserve that. We deserve to feel attractive and healthy. We deserve to want to be in the pictures of our life and not avoid them. And we, after all this hard work, we deserve to retire one day with joy and happiness and not just become a professional patient. So the real culprit here isn't your lacking memes or a series of Tony Robbins videos. The real culprit here is stress. And it boils down to 3 types of stress: mental, physical, and chemical. And so in our current human condition, if stress is the culprit, diets, counting calories, certain medications, and even exercise can sometimes be counterproductive to losing that stubborn fat, reversing chronic metabolic disease, restoring mental and physical health. It's because these stressful and chaotic strategies are just making it worse. So whether it's anxiety or stubborn fat, it's really not about psychological change. It's about physiological change and really understanding how your body operates under stress. So let me give you an example. You're stuck at home, you're homeschooling maybe you have children in high school age or college age living with you. Your husband or your wife has some health issues. You may have a grandparent or a parent living with you, dealing with their own types of issues. Then you're trying to learn Zoom from work and working remotely. Many of us have had job reduction, loss of income from one person, the family member, obviously worried about our health, catching this deadly virus, the civil unrest. I mean, if you got on Facebook alone nowadays, it's enough to make your blood boil and your eyes water. So what does your body do under that stress? Well, it goes into fight or flight mode. That's that small part of your brain, the reptilian brain, that is designed to keep you alive, much like it would be if you were going down to the water in ancient times and look both ways to see there might be a tiger. And if the tiger started chasing you, you're going to go into fight or flight. Well, we go into fight or flight when we're arguing stupidly on Facebook with random strangers. We go into fight or flight when our Zoom won't work 2 minutes before the call. We go into fight or flight when we get the call that mom's got her wrong medication, or your son or daughter is depressed, and you're thinking, how are you so depressed? I've given you everything. And so that constant state of fight or flight causes your body to secrete hormones like norepinephrine and adrenaline. And when it realizes that it's not a true life or death situation, it causes cortisol through the body. And that's all run through your adrenal glands. So what happens at night when your adrenal glands have been literally on fire all day long? You sit on the couch, you put on the dumbest show you can possibly find, Netflix. Maybe you're one of those throwbacks that reads a book. And what ends up happening is as your brain starts to turn off for a second, your body kicks in and says, hey, we've been working overtime. My adrenal glands are on fire. I run off sodium, potassium, and sugar. So you get these intense cravings. You get up from the couch. And as a male, I can tell you, it's very difficult once a male sits on the couch to get him up. But even I, under those stressful conditions, stressful days, will get up from that couch and you walk right past the countertop where you see all the fruits and vegetables and pineapples. Imagine 150 years ago, someone who would just come into our house for a second and say, what are you guys so stressed out about? There's pineapples. In fact, you went to Costco, you got a box of them. sitting on your countertop. I've never even seen a pineapple. You have blueberries and strawberries. You have fresh water. You have a device that keeps your house exact same temperature. Oh, wait, you have a house. But yet, under this stressful state, we don't want anything on that counter, that fresh, amazing fruit. We go to the refrigerator and we barely get it open, say, nah, anything in there is going to require work. Because your body's saying, stat, get me sodium, potassium, sugar. So then you go over to the pantry, as I call it, the coffin, and you open that door. And if you live in a house of others, you know where you've hid your salt and your sweet snacks, behind the baking soda or behind someplace no one would ever look. And so you're either the person that's craving salt or sugar, that's savory or that's sweet. And if you're having a really stressful day, you're eating Hershey Kiss pretzel sandwiches while you're defrosting a cheesecake in the microwave. And then you do the damn thing. You eat it all. And you have a poor night's sleep. You're causing tons of internal inflammation in the body. You wake up feeling mad at yourself, which just creates more internal anxiety and pressure. It's a vicious cycle we're under. And that's how your body's designed to work under stress. And so the idea that a 3-day bender of eating bad in relation to all the stress because it's causing cravings, it doesn't matter if Tony Robbins, Oprah, and Dr. Phil were in your pantry, you would drop kick all 3 of them just to get to your salt and sweet, because it's a physiological demand that your body has, not a psychological demand. It's not your poor relationship with food. It's the physiological relationship. And if you keep thinking that it's your fault, they're going to keep making you do things like try to flip tires in parking lots, count calories, do processed food. How about the diet soda revolution? Ooh, let's just get lower calories. And what all it's done is actually caused upheaval internally. And that's where this gut-brain connection comes in. Because I just showed you how psychologically causes cravings, and those cravings cause more cravings and more stress, but they also cause cravings for terrible food, which creates inflammation in your body. They put your body into that fight or flight mode. Inflammation causes insulin resistance, causes your blood sugars to spike. And the more inflammation you have, the less your microbiome is going to work, which are those trillions and trillions of natural bacteria and viruses that work in conjunction with your digestive system. Most of your serotonin, your body's happy hormones, made in your digestive system. So if that's off, are you going to be making any of that happy hormone? No. This is this vicious cycle that we keep getting stuck in. And so rather than punish you, the alternative is nourishment. And that's why working with savory foods, even sweet foods that have tons of fiber, like your apples, your oranges, and strawberries, can quickly help you repair your digestive system, reduce the inflammation, get your body in a state of ease, not in fight or flight. Because when you're in that fight or flight, like the tiger's chasing you, your body's not looking to take stored fat, it's looking to store it because it's under stress. And that's what the reptilian brain, that small brain, is designed to do. So by getting into a state of ease, suddenly you start to convert fat to energy. All that belly stuff around, that's potential energy. Your body wants it gone. It's not punishing you. We have one bad weekend, we can gain 5 to 6 pounds. But if I put somebody through this protocol and they lose 7 to 10 pounds in the first 2 weeks, everybody's like, well, is that good for you? Of course it is. Your body's not stingy. It's not going to say, oh, because you gained 6 pounds, now I'm going to punish you and you can only take it off 1.5 pounds per week just so you remember the next time. That's not how it works. The physiology works best both ways. Under ease, it will reward you. Under stress, it will operate as designed. That's why every time you said, enough is enough, I'm going to the gym 3 times a day, Zumba classes, counting calories like Rain Man, that's why it's never worked. It works for a short period of time. You hit the plateau, or as I call it, the great plateau, and then you go backwards. And because of the fact that you're not nourishing yourself from the inside, you have this gut-brain connection. It used to thought that your brain controlled everything. Now they realize that it's your gut, or both. There's a direct communication from your digestive system. It's 32 feet. We're talking from your top cheeks to your bottom cheeks. 32 feet of real estate designed to keep certain things out and only let certain things in. It's designed to beef up your immune system, communicate with every part of your body. It's even designed to work with the expression of your DNA. And so we've come up with a protocol and a process, and I'm going to have a few people jump on here and just tell you their experience from going through it. But it comes down to this. The science is that many of these metabolic diseases begin in the gut. Hippocrates said this thousands and thousands of years ago. It's only now that we're able to look at the research because we have the instruments to do so, looking at these tiny organisms. The philosophy is there is no one size fits all. So as food can be your best form of medicine, it also can be your slowest form of poison. And broccoli for one person can be amazing, and for others, it can cause inflammation and distress. And then the art of this is how do we fit it into your lifestyle? Because we're not designing a program to defeat diabetes or hypertension or anxiety, depression. This protocol is designed to empower you from the inside out and nourish you, and then let your body do what it was designed to do, which is thrive. So to make these matters tougher, when you talk about specific foods and things are right for you, there's 250,000 books written on diet and nutrition. They're not all right and they're not all wrong. So over a 60-day period, we apply an elimination reintroduction process, starting with just a 3-day trial period where we say, hey, can you cut out your wine and can you cut out the processed food and sugars just for 3 days so we can get a baseline? The rest is up to you. It's your choice. Because as I mentioned, diets don't work. We know you're stressed out and you're anxious, so we're going to give you a dedicated coach that's going to help you fit this into your lifestyle, make it fit your tastes. We have vegans, vegetarians, picky eaters, people with food allergies. Yes, we have done it. Over 25,000 people have gone through the program. We figured that part out. We're going to help you figure it out. And knowing that you're stressed out and anxious, that's why we give you the dedicated coach to walk you through every part of it. So our goal here is to get you off the dieting roller coaster, letting you put those thousands of dollars you spent on programs, diets, and copays into vacations and amazing experiences. And best of all, this is now covered for those of you that qualify through the Wellvolution program through Blue Shield. Now, before I go further into the science, because that's what I want to do, I'm going to just let you hear from a few people that have actually gone through this process, who have been dealing with anxiety and depression like most of us, and allow them to give their take on their going through the food protocol. So Nicole, I'm going to allow you to talk. Are you there, Nicole?
I'm here. Can you?
I can. Again, a little bit of feedback.
I'm not sure what's going on here.
Yeah, let me mute it 1 second. So we'll come back to you a second. I think you might maybe have both the phone and your laptop on. So let me go to Thana. Thana, you there? Hey, Nicole, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Perfectly clear.
Oh, wonderful. Sorry about that.
No problem.
My name is Nicole Hudson. I did learn about better health through Blue Shield. And my main motivation for joining was to lose weight, but I ended up getting so much more. Since I started the program officially, I've lost almost 12 pounds, 11.8 pounds. I did start following the protocol a little before I actually started, and since then I've lost 14 and a half pounds. But what I realized is more than losing weight, my quality of life has improved so much. Now we're speaking about anxiety on this, and I have to share, I do have bipolar 2 disorder. And so this is something that I've struggled with most of my life. And since I've been eating better and getting the nutrients that my body needs, my mood levels have balanced out tremendously. I actually feel like I'm living now instead of just getting by. So, I mean, that alone speaks volumes. And that's just besides, you know, the less anxiety and, you know, the balanced moods. My A1C's gone down from 7.5 to 6.7. And that was just in the first 3 months. And so that's, I mean, I've been diabetic since I was 20 years old, and I'm 45 now. So seeing that kind of movement, you know, after all this time, and it's just, it feels so good. The best thing that I've learned is that it's not a coincidence. I mean, this program is real. It's the real deal. And I've tried a lot of different things out there, and, you know, I recommend taking advantage of it. The best thing to do is just trust the system, because it really does work.
Nicole, isn't that the hardest thing to do, is to trust it, because it's so counterintuitive, right? Wait a minute, I don't have to, you know, run around the block with a weighted vest and get yelled at and count and weigh all my food. And don't you almost feel like you're cheating the system when you first get on it? You're like, wait a minute, why is this working so well?
Yeah, and being told I need to eat more food was the hardest part for me.
That's my constant struggle. If any of you are on the call, I'm going to constantly yell at you, feed the system, because your microbiome, what happens is when you eat an apple, all that fiber goes to the lower intestine and it ferments, and that's what the bacteria or the microbiome feed off of. And oftentimes people think, well, I just take a good probiotic. Well, listen, probiotics are just a supplement, and they're not the life, you know, they don't have all the enzymes you need and all that. So really the food, that's why we talk about the sweet and savory food. That's the food that's nourishing yourself, and it should get easier over time. Obviously in the beginning, when you're making a lifestyle change, it can be a little difficult the first few days, but then it gets easier and easier. And the fact that your mood has increased, I mean, look at how, again, you've been diabetic since you're 20. Look at how quickly your body responded. And to me, that's the greatest miracle. It has nothing to do with the program. It has everything to do with the fact that how amazing the human body is. So I really appreciate you sharing and giving that information out.
Well, thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome. All right, we're going to go to Stephanie. See, Stephanie, I'm going to click the button here. Stephanie, are you with us?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, everybody. So my name is Stephanie. I joined the Better Health Program back in February, with my main goal being to lose weight. But like, you know, as previously stated, those motivations start to evolve and change as you reach goals and create new goals, and you strive to be better than you were when you even started, which happened with me. Since starting, I've lost about 16, 17 pounds. I've plateaued a couple times because I started working out a whole lot more than I ever did before. But that's okay, because the improvements that I've seen in myself have been beyond the scale. I've seen improvements in my mental health. I do have anxiety, depression, PTSD, and OCD. And I've seen really vast improvements in my mental health, in my mood. My sleep has gotten better. My flexibility, my energy, my stamina. I have muscles. I mean, I have little baby abs. I mean, by no means do I have a six pack, but I have little lines on my ab muscles that I've never had before. So all of that stuff is really encouraging. And it's just in addition to all the things that I've learned about my body and how to listen to it, and also how to give it what it needs to be able for me to be my best self and to continue to see these improvements and have new improvements. And I think that my biggest piece of advice for anybody who is looking into joining the program would just be to just join it, because to just take it a day at a time and be kind to yourself and interact with the community and the team, like Dr. Farrow and the coaches that are available, because I mean, I can't think of a single regret. And I always think about something that I think Dr. Farrow says is nothing tastes as good as skinny feels. But for me, it's like nothing tastes as good as being healthy feels, like, yeah, maybe I want French fries sometimes, but it's not as nice as being able to get through a whole workout and knowing that I didn't modify or cheat, or I can play with my nephew and not, say, okay, I got to take a break now. All of that stuff is incredibly worth it.
And obviously, when you have those, first of all, congratulations. So excited for you, because as we know, when you already come into something with anxiety and mild depression and episodes like that, these things can be incredibly daunting. But to me, this is the proof. This is the proof in the human being. This is the proof that we're all whole and complete with only baroreceptor expression. Because if we believe the paradigm that's out there, they keep saying that, well, Americans are just fat and lazy. Everyone's lazy. No one wants to do anything. And yet I see it day after day. People dealing with diabetes for years, hypertension, tons of medication, anxiety, depression, do what you just did. Tackle it, because you want to thrive. Deep down inside, we want to thrive. And we want to have those deep relationships with our family. Mm-hmm. And this gives you that, just getting the body what it needs to thrive. So very impressed with you. And thank you so much for sharing that. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Sure. And I think we just got time for one more. We're going to see if Dana can get on the line here. Let me unmute her, see if that works. Dana, you there? There we go. Dana, you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
Good. I can.
Oh, great. So my name's Thana Webb. I am a nurse at a multi-clinic, and I did this on a dare. One of the doctors talked me into it. She said, well, you're in charge of this diabetic grant, and since you're diabetic yourself, you should try it and see if it works. So my goal was to get off medications. I actually retired from being a school nurse last year, but my meds cost so much that I thought, I need another job. One, I like nursing, and two, I need the insurance. So I wanted to get off medications. So when I first started, it was about the 4th day in, I realized that I wasn't having indigestion like I normally did. And I thought, well, maybe I can get off of this Prilosec. So I quit taking it. And I have a hiatal hernia, so I didn't even plan to get off of that medication. But in the 8 weeks that I've been on this program, I think I've taken it 3 times now. And I started cutting down on my insulin because my glucose levels were doing pretty good. And I was on 60 units. I went down to 40 units. I went down to 10 units, and I have been off of it altogether for about 3 weeks. I am still on the glipizide. So I have quit insulin, and I have quit Prilosec. And I've lost 30 pounds. That wasn't my goal. Getting rid of the meds was my goal, and that's working.
So I love this, right? Because the marketable benefit of the program, right? You go on our website, you go on Wevolution, you see all these people losing weight, and then the last thing you mention, oh, by the way, I lost 30 pounds. Just mic dropping that at the end. What you just mentioned, you hit your goal, you got off your medications, you came off the insulin, and you got this weight, off. So impressive, exciting, and now you can enjoy your retirement because you can quit now. So go quit your job. You don't need to do it anymore.
No, I don't want to quit yet.
Just kidding. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, so that was a little bit of a, it's one thing to hear me talk about it, and then it's one thing to then put it into action. And I know that you can put this into action because this is what the body's always wanted. And if you could think of it that way, that, hey, you know what, maybe the reason why I've had so many issues before is because I was just going about it the wrong way, which is what most people, will tell us, is that, yes, Dr. Farrow, I realize now that I've actually been working against my body rather than with it. So I'm going to go a little bit back into this anxiety, depression versus weight gain, chronic illness, and just talk to you a little bit more about the gut and microbiome, just so you have a little bit more information about it. And then lastly, if you are interested, whether it's our program or somebody else's program, that's what's great about Wevolution.com. You can go on there, get your families involved, fill out the questionnaire, see if you can participate. If for some reason you can't participate, we still do have self-pay options, so you can come to betterhealth.com and enroll that way. But definitely go to Wevolution.com, see if you qualify. Just kind of the nuts and bolts of it. You get a scale, a personal coach, our community. Now we've even added in meal delivery, so we've created these family-friendly meals that can get delivered to your house. But ultimately, understanding that your gut microbiome contains 100 trillion microorganisms or more is really important, because your whole body only has 10 trillion cells. So when you think about all those other microorganisms there, you can see what a substantial part they can actually play in the role of your overall health, plus is reversing chronic diseases. And now, with the research just constantly coming at us, that the imbalance of this gut microbiome at some level, which we call dysbiosis, is involved in so many different metabolic processes. And to reiterate, we talked about the gut-brain connection, and that's actually connected through what we call the vagus nerve. And that vagus nerve is how your body, it's just one way how your gut can influence your brain can influence your gut. And so when we talk about your nervous system, it's broken up into your autonomic nervous system, which means those are the things that happen automatically, like I talked about earlier, your fight or flight process. And when your body's under stress, how it goes into survival mode. And then you have your parasympathetic nervous system, which is what influences your body when it's time to rest and digest. And so those are the two areas. So we want to have more of your body in parasympathetic framing, and that's done with a sense of ease. And when you're feeling that, you're going to feel a connection, you're going to feel love, you're going to feel friendship. That's the offset. But if we're constantly in that autonomic nervous system, and that's fight or flight mode, of course it's going to depress that parasympathetic nervous system. So again, those chaotic strategies are the ones that keep forcing you into what we call the ANS versus the parasympathetic nervous system, which is where you're going to do the rest and digest. So we're going to try to keep you in that system as much as possible. And then you have your enteric nervous system, which is basically embedded into the wall of the gastrointestinal tract. And it kind of it receives both signals from both your sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. So again, the more we have your parasympathetic system working, the more signals your enteric nervous system will get and make your body express health more vastly than before. And so if your gut is off, people will talk about the anxiety and depression, and that's because it's influencing your stress response. It influences your leaky gut, letting certain things into your body, causing inflammation. As I mentioned before, inflammation causes insulin resistance, which is why you just heard her were able to come off her insulin, because she reduced all the inflammation in her body. The cells could operate properly and reduce the insulin resistance and have her blood sugars get down to normal. And last but not least, it's not just, people will think, well, I don't know if I have digestive issues because they don't have pain or gas or bloating. Well, if you're experiencing knee pain, problem sleeping, low energy, polycystic ovarian syndrome, PCOS, infertility, we mentioned acid reflux, those are all symptoms of an upset digestive system. If your blood pressure is high, your cholesterol is high, those are all symptoms of dysbiosis. So there's many different forms of it, but ultimately, don't you want to feel empowered? Don't you want your 22-year-old to discover that they have this in them, and potentially that they have it worse than we do, with the Lunchables and the amount of chemicals being poured on them and all the environmental toxins? We have to stop fighting with them and saying that they shouldn't be depressed because they have it better than we did. They are depressed and anxious now that we know that it's just an internal upheaval. And that's why people deal with psoriasis and psoriatic arthritis and all these inflammatory diseases, and anxiety, depression is so pronounced because we're a toxic soup. So by using these savory foods, by doing an elimination reintroduction process, you will be able to figure out what works best for you. Your kids will be able to figure out what works best for them. And they will have a blueprint, which is why you really only need 60 days. we don't need to coach you for the rest of your life because it's not a behavioral issue. It's a physiological issue that you can get control of and your family, and you can do this together. So forget about being on a program for X. This is a way to enhance that lifestyle. So I appreciate you all getting on the call. This call will be recorded and we will be sending it out. What I will do next here is through email, we're going to send you these 3 really awesome recipes that are more on the savory side. So savory either means spice or a little bit on the salty side, mineral salt. We use Himalayan sea salt because your body assimilates it. Honestly, just changing that alone in your diet process can have a really, really great effect on your microbiome. So look out for an email at from betterhealth.com to give you these recipes. And lastly, this is how you can register directly. If you know, hey, I like what Better Health is saying, you can go directly to wellvolution.com/betterhealth and see if you're eligible to register. I'm just going to look to see if there was any questions that popped up. Oh boy, I didn't realize. Okay, loud and clear. Yes, they can hear me. Let me just see if there's any questions out there if you want to type them in. Yes, there's only one slide. I'm not much for slides. Okay, it was just all about if they could hear me or not. So anyway, this is Dr. Farrell from Better Health. Just please go to wellvolution.com/betterhealth if you're interested in enrolling, see if you're there, and this recording will be made available. So thanks again and have a great day.